This is a very weird background, actually. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm sure you guys love the videos from undisclosed locations at this point. This almost looks like an office setting. Maybe you're in the King's Club office now. If you're here for an interview and you're a Smark, you can just kill yourself because we don't hire Smarks. Well, actually, that's not true. We've had the Hentai Boy 32, whatever his name was. My neighbor. That was a terrible intro. I'm gonna start that over. So, Fastlane happened this past week, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to defend the show because Fastlane was maybe the worst pay-per-view I've ever watched in my life. It was unbelievably terrible. Like, you don't know how hard it is to sit through a pay-per-view with Jinder Mahal in the mid-card. You have no idea how difficult it is. Especially when Jinder Mahal had, like, maybe the longest match on the card. But people are hating on the show, I would say, for the stupidest of reasons. They're hating on it because Charlotte's undefeated streak was lost or whatever. Guess what? Nobody cared about the woman to begin with, so there's no reason to get upset. You should have known this was coming. WWE always books the woman like this, and if you thought they were actually saving something good with this Charlotte undefeated streak, you're just a moron. You should have known better from the begin with. They're complaining because Nia Jax lost. Do you really care? Honestly, do you really care that Nia Jax lost? Please answer me that, because I don't think you really do. It doesn't matter to anybody, and if it does, then that's your own fault. They're complaining because Roman Reigns beat Braun Strowman. What did you want? What did you think was going to happen? You think Braun Strowman was going to beat Roman Reigns? Reigns is facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Why the fuck would you have Reigns lose right before WrestleMania when he's facing The Undertaker? Now I know what you're going to say. Oh, well, Undertaker could have came out and appeared to cause interference. You really think Undertaker wanted to show up to Fastlane? Really? You think he wanted to show up to this shit show? No, I'm surprised he showed up at the Battleground once. Undertaker shouldn't be wasting his time on shows like this. He needs to be saved up for the big shows. He needs to be saved up for WrestleMania and needs to build it up on Raw. There's no reason for him to show up Fastlane when nobody's watching Fastlane to begin with. And then the major problem that everybody's ranting about, and that's why this video is here today, Goldberg defeated Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship maybe in about 20 seconds. And everybody, every smart on the internet lost their mind. It's like the world collapsed when this moment happened. Now, here is a question for you Smarks. One, did you not expect this to happen? What did you think was going to happen in this match? Did you really honestly believe that Kevin Owens was going to defeat Goldberg and go on to WrestleMania? Is that what you really thought was going to happen? You have to keep note, Goldberg defeated Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series in 1 minute and 26 seconds. You really think that they were going to have Kevin Owens not only last longer than Brock Lesnar, you think he was going to win against Goldberg? That would make Kevin Owens better than Brock Lesnar. And not only in a storyline sense does that not make sense, in a real life sense that does not make sense. Because if you look at Brock Lesnar and compare him to Kevin Owens, they are nothing alike. Kevin Owens is this big, fat, lazy fuck, and Brock Lesnar is a guy who does MMA, UFC, and is fucking built, and he will fucking kill anybody in his fucking path. And you can just see it by looking at him. You look at Kevin Owens and you think the man's pregnant. So honestly, did you really think that Vince McMahon looked at Kevin Owens and said, oh, this guy's going to last longer than Brock Lesnar? No, that never was going to happen. Two, do you really think Kevin Owens would have been a huge drawing point when it comes to being champion for WrestleMania? Do you really think Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the Universal Championship was going to be a match that gained people to watch WrestleMania? No. No, it never was going to be. And if you think people are going to say, oh, well, I watched WrestleMania to see Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens, then you're living in this smart fantasy world where every one of your smart fantasies comes true. But guess what? This is WWE. This isn't an indie fed. This isn't some gymnasium. This isn't a bingo hall. This is the main company, and this is the biggest show of the year. I don't care what you say. The fact is, the show is called WWE. Keyword the E there for entertainment. You know why it's about entertainment? Because that's the fan base they've been appealing to for years now. They don't appeal to the fan base that says, oh, well, we want to see good wrestling on our product. No, they don't appeal to that fan base. That's why there's storylines. That's why there's well, there's not really any storylines or characters now, but they're supposed to be. That's why they have the promos. That's why they have the segments. That's why they have bullshit finishes every single finish. Because they are appealing to the entertainment aspect, not the wrestling aspect. There's no good sportsmanship here, unless it's in the fucking Cruiserweight division, but nobody watches the Cruiserweight division anyway. You all think that Kevin Owens was going to be this guy to drive the needle for the company and bring WWE somewhere where it's never been before. Fact is, that's not true. In fact, when Kevin Owens was champion, he brought the ratings down lower than they've ever been before. That's because nobody gives a fuck about Kevin Owens. That's not his fault as a wrestler. That's WWE's fault. And it's also, well, actually no. It's the fans' fault and it's WWE's fault. It's the fans' fault because they wanted Kevin Owens to be this legit badass heel who nobody likes. But you dumb fans out there decide to cheer him every single time he comes out because he's a good work rate guy. You fans don't know what characters are anymore, and you don't give people the proper reactions they're supposed to get. That's why nobody gets pushed anymore. Because you smarks out there think that your opinion is the only opinion that matters. When really, you should be playing along with the show to give off the good story that they are trying to tell. And then the second problem is with the company itself. Because the company hasn't been able to produce any new big-time stars since maybe Punk. No, Bryan, I guess Daniel Bryan could be considered, but Daniel Bryan was not as big as CM Punk was. Just sad reality. You all don't understand that it's because of this, they rely on part-time stars. Is it a bad thing to rely on part-time stars? No, because part-time stars bring in the ratings, they bring in the viewers, and they get people paying attention. However, they're not going to be here forever. That's the sad point. The sad point is that the part-time stars are never going to be here forever. They're never going to show up to every single Raw. They're never going to show up to every single SmackDown. They're not going to be here year-round out. They're not. That's why WWE needs to be creating new stars. However, the issue is they sign all of these indie guys who have no capability of being huge stars, and they try to build them up like huge stars by treating them like they were stars to begin with. Sami Zayn comes up, and they're like, oh, well, you should all know him because he's wrestled all over the world. Samoa Joe comes up, oh, you should know him because he's also wrestled all over the world. Blah, blah, blah. AJ Styles comes up. AJ Styles is probably the most successful one. However, guess what? He's just the same as every other one. That's the thing you people don't realize. You guys are like, oh, why is AJ Styles doing so much better than all the other indie guys? And it's true. He is doing so much better than all the other indie guys. All the indie guys, when they come out, there are no reactions giving. AJ Styles, when he comes out, at least he gets a reaction. That doesn't make him any different, though, than the other indie guys. He comes up and he cuts the same promo as them. He does the same matches as them. He's got the same work rate as them. He's the same exact indie guy. The only reason people like him more is because he was the main eventer, I guess, of TNA for how many years? That's the only reason. Everybody else was the main eventer of Ring of Honor. And guess what? Nobody watched Ring of Honor. So, but the main problem in all of this comes in the fact that you smarks out there think that it's because the WrestleMania main event is not what you want it to be, that it's not good. You think because Goldberg is champion that WrestleMania is going to fail and wrestling will never be good again. Fact is, you're stupid. You're literally stupid when you say this. Because what you don't understand is Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship hasn't even happened yet, and it's already a success. You know why it's a success? Because it's bringing in tickets. It's bringing in viewers. It's bringing in the money they want to gain from this match. That's why they booked the match to begin with. Did it have to be the Universal Championship? No, of course not. But the Universal Championship, despite it being the stupidest title ever, it gives the match a more important feeling. It gives it more of an unpredictable factor. You don't know who's going to walk out as champion. And for all you people, oh, well, Brock Lesnar's obviously walking out. You don't know that. Goldberg could agree to stay for longer and he could be champion for longer. You don't know that. You don't know anything. You think you know everything because you read online what's going to happen, but that's not true. Everything you read online sometimes does not turn out to be true. Sad reality, I know. You said that The Miz was going to... not The Miz. You said John Cena was going to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. That didn't happen. You said John Cena was going to face Samoa Joe at WrestleMania. That didn't happen. You said Undertaker was going to face Sting years ago. That didn't happen. Not everything you read on the internet is true. So, when you Smarks out there, they try to get your point across that you don't like Goldberg as champion. You try to bring up the fact that he's not able to wrestle and that he's only able to go out there for 20-second matches. Okay, that's not true. And you know that's not true. Because he's been able to do it on Raw before, years ago. What makes him any different now? It's not different now. The only reason it's different now is because they're trying to book him to be a good babyface dominator person. Good babyface dominator person. And what you Smarks don't realize is that it's working. It's working. Because as much as you Smarks don't like Goldberg, every single time he goes out to the ring, he gets a reaction. And almost 70% of the time, it's a positive reaction. Fastlane, people were like, oh, they're going to boo Goldberg out of the building. They were cheering for Goldberg just as much as they were cheering for Kevin Owens. Survivor Series, you people said, oh, they're going to boo Goldberg out of the building. They were cheering for Goldberg over Brock Lesnar. Chicago, you said, oh, they're going to boo him to all hell and he's going to get what he deserved. Only 70% of the crowd was cheering Goldberg. There was like 30% booing him. And for all you people out there who were like, oh, he got booed more than that. No, you're fucking retarded. You gotta go listen to the audio clip. And then, of course, there's the good old argument. Oh, they were chanting CM Punk. They were in Chicago. You fucktards. They were chanting CM Punk the whole night. It doesn't matter regardless. The fact is, they have built Goldberg up to be a good star. That's because they built him to look dominant. They built him to look good. They gave him good lines. And he's got a good theme song. He's got a good entrance. People are invested in the character Goldberg. That's just how it is. And the fact that you think that this is going to fail because it's not the WrestleMania match you wanted, because it's not Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho on the main event, because it's not AJ Styles versus Nakamura on the main event, you think this is going to fail and this is going to be the worst WrestleMania ever. That's simply not the case. That's not because of Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. Because Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar is probably that match that's going to make it the most successful WrestleMania ever. So when the day rolls in after WrestleMania and they announce new investment records and they announce all the money they gained from this WrestleMania, don't be shocked. Don't act like, oh, well, why would that be happening? Because guess what? This past week on Raw, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar were on hour 2 of the show, and that hour gained the most viewers. Do you know why that is? Because people care about this. They want to see Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. They want to see that match happen. And they're going to purchase WrestleMania no matter what happens. They're going to buy tickets. They're going to purchase on the WWE Network to see the show. And they're going to buy on pay-per-view. So guess what? The outcome of the match or how the match happens, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because guess what? Unlike a product, you can't return a pay-per-view. So Vince doesn't care. Now, watch it be the best match ever. Then what are you going to say? What are you going to say if they have a good match? Then you're just going to look stupid. And all you people out there, when they have a good match, they're going to try to... Oh, well, it wasn't that good. It wasn't Nakamura, AJ Styles worthy. It doesn't matter. If the fans are behind it, if the fans are invested in it, and they're paying money to see it, it's successful. No matter what you try to argue, it is successful. That's all that matters at the end of the day for this man. That's all that matters with WWE. Your smarky opinion makes no difference. And as you can tell, Goldberg doesn't care either, because some fan on Twitter decided to tell Goldberg to go die. And of course, he's some indie mark because he was like, Kevin Steen didn't deserve that. Great. You know his Ring of Honor name. Good for you. Aw, do you want a gold star, you retarded fuck? Look. Goldberg doesn't care. He replied to that fan. He said, thanks for the support. You know why Goldberg doesn't care? Because he knows right now he's being successful. He knows the fans like him. He knows that the only part of the fan base in the world that doesn't like him is this smart indie fan base that wants a 35-hour main event at WrestleMania. And when you get that 35-hour main event, as in Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, as in Triple H versus Roman Reigns, you complain about it being too long. So what do you want? Do you want a long main event at WrestleMania, or do you want a short main event? Oh, do you want a main event without a part-timer? WrestleMania 30. Batista was a full-timer at the time. Is Batista, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan? That's a WrestleMania without a part-timer. Batista never did part-time. He was at the live events. He was on Raw. He was on SmackDown. He had a full-time schedule. The only reason why he left is because you people made him left because you're a bunch of retards. Look. It's time to just face facts that Goldberg vs. Brock Lesnar is the biggest drawing point for WrestleMania. Last year's WrestleMania, Shane McMahon vs. Undertaker was the match that sold the most tickets to WrestleMania. What does that tell you? It tells you that casual fans that want to see WrestleMania, they don't care about work rate. They don't care about how good the match is. They don't care about the outcome. They care about the two big names in the match, and they care about what they want to. They care about seeing the match in general. Wrestling is like a movie, folks. You're going to buy a ticket to see it, and if it's good or bad, guess what? The opinion in the end doesn't matter because you still pay money to see it. Hard life, I know. You don't always get what you want in wrestling, Smarks. This is a very weird saying. Smarks.